Okay, guys, so this is gonna be a little bit of a power scaling video, but not really. This is more just gonna be a debunking video to stupid arguments that people try to use to downplay a lot of the verses that I have scaled. Now, I'm gonna first go over the bad debunks for murder drones, then over the ones for KJ. Yeah, for KJ's final ride. So yeah, let's get into murder drones. Okay, so basically the first argument they tried to make is that drones can be damaged by basic bullets, like the worker drones, and can be killed like arrows and shots like that. So they're not planetary, even though they take the explosion that wiped half of the planet and also shifted it a little bit, which is like to a small planetary, but because they know so that it would be planetary. Now, the thing is, even characters like Uzi before obtaining the solver can take bullets. So this argument kind of falls apart. It's mainly because in episode 4, whenever V shoots one of them, it breaks their screen and kills them. But as we know, this is just because there's a plot inconsistencies. Murder drones isn't power scaling. It isn't for power scaling. Its purpose is to entertain people, which is why you have things like the drones taking the explosion, but they still get killed by bullets. It's basically just narrative that is just making them die. Yeah, literally, it's narrative. That's a lot of the arguments here that they use actually just completely get debunked by narrative upscalings. So yeah. I'm just gonna go to the next downplaying argument for murder drones. Okay, so the next argument they tried to use is like this. Yeah, the knife pierced Uzi's hand, so she's not planetary. Okay, first of all, I don't scale Uzi before Solver to planetary. That is not the case. And secondly, yeah, there's a difference between durability from tanking attacks that are blunt force on you and attacks that are made to pierce you. This is piercing durability. There's a decent difference between them. So you can see characters getting pierced, but they can tank higher level stuff that is just more distributing around a larger area. And also Uzi before obtaining the absolute solver at best is wall plus. But after attaining it, she gets a tier jump to building level or small building level basically. So yeah. Moving on to the next downplaying argument. Okay, so basically another argument they make right here is that Uzi using the null only broke apart a small hole in the wall, which is wall level. But this argument falls apart when you realize that this is the first showcasing of her using the Zara's ability while possessed. So this really could just be the switchings of power just lowering it. And also, yes, base Uzi this off guard or some stuff like that just gets into wall level or wall plus. This feat being wall level, no problem with the scaling of Uzi at this point because she's heavily injured. So yeah, she would pretty much just not scale as high as she normally does, which is building level when before obtaining good solver control. And on to the final argument. The final argument that is used against the nulls, yeah, the attacks that the solver users use. They try to say that it's hacks or abilities, so it doesn't scale to their attack potency, and that their best feat of attack potency is building level. But this would kind of get contradicted by itself because in episode, literally in episode 8, we see Sin grabbing Uzi's null that could pierce the planet, getting into multi-continental. So yeah, it got into the multi-continental ranges, and Sin was able to just casually tank it. Also multiple times we have seen that like they can resist the nulls or just flat out just like crush the nulls. Yes, Sin can literally just crush null attacks. So like their attack potency can actually scale to the nulls. So like it's not hacks. And also another argument that debunks this is that literally the nulls are like part of the things that they use to amplify like their body or to like their attacks. So like you could argue that they're just like using them as attacks, which would still count under the part of attack potency. And even then, you can just use the feat of Sin crushing Uzi's null attack, which would blatantly just make her like scale to the nulls of Uzi. So yeah, I don't see the argument there. And now moving on to bad arguments against KJ. One of the arguments that I'm probably going to have to debunk in the future is the fact that KJ actually got caught off guard and was like blitzed or something like that, which is totally incorrect since KJ isn't even going all out here. Dumb argument because KJ literally got caught off guard, so this doesn't make sense. And also like right after that, like he's like powerful. So yeah. Another argument I guess I could use, but I'm not gonna show since I don't have the time. Well, I do have the time to do that. But like basically they tried to argue like KJ like doesn't scale that high because like he's limited by the plot, which is kind of stupid to say because like I made a video power scaling KJ and I got him to mountain level. Yeah, at 100% power he's mountain level, so yeah. Narrative holding back is not really in fact that could be like fallacious in itself because like KJ, my guy, he scales to mountain level because of the video I made. Narrative holding back is literally stupid since there's no narrative in the versus battle. So why would you even use it here? It makes no sense. And also, as a final thing, I will make a speed scale on KJ. I just didn't have the time before on my previous video, which would also include KJ's hacks abilities. And like after that video, I'm going to power scale another underrated verse that you're going to see and add it to a playlist. So see you next time.